Hello everyone, welcome to your health space. Dr. Joseph J. Allen greet you today, and I want to share a revelation that will completely change the way you take care of your body, and above all, the way you see the world. We are literally going to talk about how to protect our greatest treasure, eyesight. Did you know that once you cross the age of 60, more than 4 out of every 10 people already begin to show the first signs of wear and tear in the central part of the retina? The most worrying part of the situation is that the vast majority notice absolutely nothing until vision becomes blurry and the damage has already progressed. That is why, before diving into today's big secret, I want to ask you a huge favor. I would like you to write in the comments below which city or country you are tuning in from and what you enjoy most in your daily life. Whether it is seeing your grandchildren's faces, reading a good book, or watching the sunrise, I ask you to do this because this channel is built together, and knowing your stories helps me prepare the best medical advice for you. In addition, by commenting, we form an active community of people who decide to take control of their well-being. I will personally be reading you now. Today, I am not here to talk about just any recommendation. I am here to reveal the ultimate nutrient, that essential vitamin that acts as a true protective shield, capable of stopping ocular aging in its tracks. If we choose to ignore what the body is asking for, I can guarantee that visual deterioration will accelerate much faster than you can imagine. So, I ask you to stay with me for a few minutes because the information you will discover today has the power to restore your independence and bring brightness back into your days. To understand how to defend our visual health, we must first understand how our eyesight gradually fades. The eyes are not like an electric light bulb that flickers and suddenly burns out completely, leaving everything in darkness. No, my dear friends, the process is much more subtle and dangerous. It is like a burning candle that slowly and silently consumes itself, almost without us noticing. Each passing day in which we do not provide our body with the proper fuel, the cells responsible for capturing light at the back of the eye suffer constant wear. Imagine a microscopic chemical battle happening right now inside your eyes. On one side, we have free radicals acting like small destructive agents that attack and weaken eye tissue. On the other side, the lens, which is the natural and flexible lens we are born with, begins to lose its elasticity, becoming increasingly rigid and opaque. At the same time, the macula, the central point where our clearest and most detailed vision is formed, begins to accumulate waste. It is like a pipe that gradually gets clogged over the years, preventing light from passing through with full clarity. As a direct consequence of all this nutritional neglect, the electrical signal that should travel strongly and cleanly to our brain becomes weakened. And what does all this silent process translate into? It translates into those annoying blurry spots when we try to read small print on a package, dangerous glare while driving at night, or that constant feeling of having a cloudy film in front of us, as if the world had been stripped of its color and contrast. The saddest part is that our body, which is extremely intelligent, sends us small distress signals. But what do we usually do? We simply shrug and justify it by saying, well, it's just age, it's normal. Today, with all the respect, care, and medical authority that experience gives me, I want to tell you that it is not just a matter of age. In a huge number of cases, what we are actually suffering from is severe ocular malnutrition, the lack of specific tools that our eyes are begging for in order to withstand the passage of time. Think of it this way. It is as if we were trying to drive a top-class car but completely refuse to change its oil. The problem is not that the car is old. The problem is that it lacks the most basic maintenance needed to keep running. And believe me, our eyes are a far more complex, delicate, and valuable mechanism than any vehicle ever invented. This brings us to debunk a myth we have all heard since childhood. I am sure you remember being told that eating carrots would give you eagle-like vision, capable of seeing in the deepest darkness. I will not lie to you. There is some truth in that statement. Carrots are a fantastic source of beta-carotens, which our body processes and converts into vitamin A. This vitamin is an absolutely essential pillar for the retina to properly capture light, especially in low-light environments. However, here comes the real reality, the uncomfortable truth that almost no one shares in consultations, and that is vital for you to know if you want to protect your visual health. Vitamin A alone is not enough. To give you a clear idea, imagine your favorite football team hiring the best goalkeeper in the world, a true titan who stops every shot. But what happens if, on match day, the the rest of the players do not show up. If there are no defenders to stop the opponent's advance, nor midfielders to organize the game, no matter how extraordinary that goalkeeper is, they will inevitably lose the match. The same happens with the nutrition of our eyes. If vitamin A goes out to play alone, without the support of its teammates, the damage caused by aging continues its destructive advance without anything stopping it. In fact, science shows us that if this nutrient does not work together with other specific antioxidants, it can end up oxidizing itself, becoming a problem instead of a solution. That is why the retina does not need a single lone hero. What it requires is a complete squad of defenders working in perfect harmony. Our eyes need specialized protectors that filter harmful radiation, repairers that neutralize daily attacks, and lubricants that keep the entire system running smoothly and efficiently. Believing that a single food or a single isolated vitamin solves the problem is a very limited and frankly dangerous perspective for the future of our vision. It is time to leave behind these simplistic myths and open the door to truly comprehensive ocular nutrition. Therefore, allow me to introduce the first dynamic duo of this great defensive strategy, lutein and zeaxanthin. These two powerful compounds are the true guardians of the macula, the central region of the retina I mentioned earlier, which allows us to see faces, read, and perceive the finest details. And do you know where they choose to settle? Right in the heart of our eyes, acting like internal, completely natural sunglasses. Their main job is to block and absorb high-energy blue light, the very aggressive radiation constantly emitted by smartphone screens, tablets, computers, and of course, sunlight. Medical evidence on this is overwhelming. High-level research has shown that daily intake of just 6 milligrams of lutein can reduce the probability of developing macular degeneration by up to an astonishing 43%. We are talking about reducing the risk by almost half. Imagine the powerful positive impact this has on maintaining our independence and preventing the main causes of vision loss as we age. It is literally like placing an invisible armor over our vision. The excellent news is that these protectors are not found in expensive medications, but in highly accessible and delicious foods that we can enjoy every day. Fresh spinach is a true champion in this regard, as is kale, corn, and of course, the humble egg yolk. To help you make the most of these guardians, I'm going to share a medical tip that is truly worth its weight in gold. Lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble nutrients. This means, in simple terms, that our body absorbs them much better when they are consumed together with a healthy fat. So if you prepare a good spinach salad or a green smoothie in the morning, add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. That small detail can increase the absorption of these protective compounds by up to 3 times. Do not underestimate the power of these natural pigments. They are your strongest allies against the daily bombardment of screens. Now, let's move on to the second major defender on our list, vitamin E. This is not just any component. It is the most important fat-protecting antioxidant in our body. Why is it so crucial for vision? Think of vitamin E as a high-security lock that seals and protects the walls of the light-sensitive cells of the retina, preventing free radicals from entering and causing damage. Its main mission is to deactivate these destructive agents before they can damage the essential fatty acids that form the structure of our eyes. Without vitamin E, retinal cell membranes become extremely fragile, break down, and the cells completely lose their ability to function properly. Science strongly supports its importance. The famous AED study, one of the largest and most important clinical investigations in the history of ophthalmic health, discovered something truly remarkable. An adequate dose of vitamin E can slow the progression of advanced vision degeneration by up to 25%. A quarter of extra protection is a huge difference when the goal is preserving our independence and the ability to continue seeing the world clearly. And where do we find this essential protector? Nature gives it to us in almonds, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and avocados. A small handful of nuts a day can do wonders for your health. However, as your doctor, I must give you a very important warning here. Be very careful with nuts that are already shelled and have been sitting for months in plastic bags at the supermarket. Vitamin E is extremely sensitive to oxidation. This means that prolonged exposure to air and sunlight destroys it completely. That is why my medical recommendation is, whenever possible, to buy nuts in their shells. Once you shell them at home, store them in a tightly sealed glass jar in a cool place, even in the refrigerator. This way, we ensure that this protective lock maintains all its strength to defend your precious eyes. And since we are talking about protecting the structures of our vision, it is time to oil those visual gears. Our third major reinforcement in this battle is a well-known nutrient for overall health, but one that plays a truly starring role in the eyes: omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA. Did you know that DHA is so vital that it represents no less than 60% of the total composition of the retina? Yes, 60%. This component is not a simple accessory. It is the very structure on which the tiny light receptor antennas of our eyes are built. It is absolutely essential for the visual signal to travel from the eye to the brain at lightning speed, quickly and efficiently. If we lack DHA, that communication becomes slow, the signal weakens, and our vision loses sharpness completely. But the benefits of this wonderful oil do not stop there. Omega-3s are powerful natural anti-inflammatories in the eye environment. This translates into a direct reduction of chronic inflammation, which lies behind almost all age-related eye diseases. In addition, it is considered a key support for dry eye syndrome. If you frequently suffer from burning, itching, redness, or that uncomfortable sensation of sand in the eyes, omega-3 may be your salvation, as it improves tear quality and prevents it from evaporating too quickly. How can we incorporate this remarkable lubricating oil into our daily life? The most direct and effective way is by consuming fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, or tuna. With a serving of these foods about twice a week, it is more than enough to give your eyes the stimulus they need. Now, if you are not very enthusiastic about the taste of fish, or you are concerned about the purity of modern food sources, a high-quality fish oil supplement with molecular distillation is a fantastic alternative. This distillation process ensures an oil that is completely free from toxins and heavy metals. For my dear friends who follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, do not worry. Nature has solutions for everyone. Seaweed is the original source from which fish themselves obtain omega-3, and today, there are algae-based oil supplements that provide exactly the same structural benefit for your retina. When do you start noticing changes? In the clinic, my patients report that after just about 3 weeks of consistency, they begin to feel a huge difference. Burning decreases. There is greater comfort when blinking, and, most exciting of all, they perceive much clearer vision, especially as the sun goes down. This has nothing to do with magic, my friends. It is pure molecular biology applied in practice. It is the direct result of giving your eyes the exact fuel they need to function at their maximum capacity. But get ready, because now we arrive at the crown jewel, the true star of this video, and undoubtedly the greatest revelation in ophthalmic health in recent times: vitamin C. It is very likely that you only associate this vitamin with immunity or colds, but the medical fact I'm about to share will completely astonish you. The aqueous humor, the transparent fluid that fills the front part of our eye and nourishes the lens and cornea, contains the highest concentration of vitamin C in the entire human body. It is up to 50 times more concentrated in our eyes than in the bloodstream itself. Why do you think our body stores this nutrient in such massive amounts? The answer is as elegant as it is vital. Because vitamin C is our first line of defense against hydrogen peroxide, a highly aggressive free radical generated every time light hits the retina. Imagine that every time we look at a phone screen, walk under sunlight, or simply go through our daily life, a micro-explosion of oxidative stress occurs inside our vision. If we do not have optimal levels of vitamin C to neutralize that impact, this free radical begins to wreak havoc. It attacks the proteins of the lens, oxidizes them, damages them, and very slowly but relentlessly, these proteins begin to clump together and become opaque. The final result? The appearance of cataracts, that frustrating haze that gradually steals the sharpness of the world from us. The relationship between vitamin C and cataract prevention is strongly supported by modern science. A major medical analysis that reviewed multiple high-quality clinical studies concluded that people who maintain optimal vitamin C intake reduce their risk of developing cataracts by an impressive 70%. 70%. A figure of that magnitude is something no healthcare professional and no person over the age of 60 can afford to ignore. We are not talking about a minor benefit. We are talking about a massive shield for your eyes. And let me clarify something. The solution is not to rush to the pharmacy and buy high-dose pills. The real answer lies in whole foods, because they come with their natural partners, bioflavonoids, compounds that multiply the nutrient's power and ensure the body fully utilizes it. To achieve this daily protection in a completely delicious and natural way, let me share my preferred medical strategy. It is not about complicating your life, but about combining foods properly on your plate. For example, consuming 2 fresh kiwis per day provides an excellent nutrient base. If you add a red bell pepper sliced into strips, either raw in a salad or as a crunchy snack in the afternoon, and complement it with a cup of fresh strawberries, you will far exceed the level your eyes need to defend themselves against aging. The best part of this combination is that your digestive system absorbs it almost completely because nature is intelligent and packages these foods with fiber and antioxidants that enhance absorption. However, vitamin C has a small weak point. It is water-soluble and is destroyed with remarkable ease when exposed to heat and air. In order for it to truly work its magic on your visual health, we need to apply 2 fundamental rules: regenerate it and do not sabotage it. Let's first talk about how a perfect team is formed inside your body. Do you remember I mentioned that vitamin E acts like a lock that protects cells? Well, when vitamin E stops an attack from free radicals, it becomes deactivated, meaning it sacrifices itself to protect us. This is where vitamin C comes to the rescue. It has the remarkable ability to rebuild damaged vitamin E, restoring its full defensive power. It is a virtuous cycle of mutual support that multiplies the effectiveness of both nutrients. That is why consuming them together is an extremely smart decision. The second rule is to avoid its worst enemy, refined sugars. I know this may sound like the typical doctor's lecture, but there is a very precise scientific explanation for it. Glucose, the processed sugar found in pastries, soft drinks, and sweets, uses the same entry gates as vitamin C to enter our cells. If your bloodstream is saturated with sugar, it monopolizes all these entry points and leaves vitamin C completely out of the game, preventing it from reaching your eyes. In addition, excessive consumption of refined sugars causes very high insulin spikes, which increases inflammation throughout the body and completely neutralizes the protective efforts of antioxidants. So, what would be the perfect breakfast to enhance vitamin C and protect our vision from the start of the day? Imagine this on your table: a bowl of plain yogurt with no added sugar, accompanied by a good handful of fresh strawberries or kiwis, a few walnuts to provide the vitamin E and omega-3 we so need, and a touch of natural honey or pure stevia if you want to sweeten it. This meal is not only a delight for the palate, but also a true nutrient bomb working in perfect harmony. It is very low in processed sugars, rich in fiber, and specifically designed to give your eyes all the tools they need to stay radiant, healthy, and well protected. I assure you, you will love it if you try it. Our body is a masterpiece of nature, and it has very clear ways of communicating with us. The only problem is that sometimes we do not know how to listen. How can you tell if your eyes and your overall vitamin C reserves are suffering from a deficiency? Pay close attention to these small but powerful warning signs. One of the most common symptoms occurs when we move from a very bright environment to a dark one. For example, when entering a room from a sunny street. If your eyes take more than 5 minutes to fully adapt and allow you to see shapes clearly, that is a clear sign that the retinal receptor cells are not regenerating at the proper speed due to a lack of antioxidants. Another important warning is noticing that the colors around you no longer appear as vivid or vibrant as before. If everything seems slightly grayish or washed out, the cells responsible for color detection may be weakened. There is an even more obvious warning that often causes concern: the appearance of small broken capillaries or frequent blood spots in the white part of the eye, commonly known as persistent red eyes, without allergies or lack of sleep being the cause. Vitamin C is the structural foundation that maintains the strength and elasticity of capillaries, the tiny blood vessels that nourish our vision. Without enough of it, these vessels become extremely fragile and break with even minimal strain. And the warning signs do not stop at the eyes, my friends. Since this vitamin is essential for collagen production, if you notice that you bruise easily from minor bumps, or your gums bleed when brushing your teeth, your body is clearly signaling that your antioxidant reserves are running low. Slow wound healing,
even for small cuts, is also a direct message. Please let us not ignore these signals by dismissing them as just age-related changes. They are not.
They are nutritional deficiencies that we can and should correct before they turn into a bigger problem. To make things very easy for you, I have designed an express routine that will take you less than 60 seconds to organize throughout the day and that will protect your vision starting today. When you wake up, before checking your phone or rushing into your day, drink a glass of warm water with the juice of half a freshly squeezed lemon. This small action is a direct injection of antioxidants that is very well absorbed because the stomach is empty. At breakfast, always include a citrus fruit or a bowl of strawberries along with a handful of almonds. In your meals, make sure your plate has color. A good portion of spinach or kale with raw red bell pepper, all dressed with a generous drizzle of olive oil. At dinner, choose a light protein such as salmon or a boiled egg, which will give your retina the nighttime rest and repair it deserves. Before going to sleep, there is a fundamental step that is often overlooked. Turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bedtime. The phone, tablet, and television emit blue light that not only disrupts sleep, but also interferes with the vitamin C your retina needs to repair itself during the night. If you follow this routine for 1 month, I guarantee you will notice less eye fatigue and sharper vision. Now, I want to warn you about a very common mistake in medical consultations, believing that a supplement pill solves everything. Many people think a commercial multivitamin replaces a good diet, but it does not. Without the natural food matrix, nutrient absorption drops significantly. A supplement is like a single musician playing a melody. It may sound good, but it can never compare to the richness of a full orchestra, which is what real food represents with its fiber, water, and minerals. Science shows that vitamin C from a fresh kiwi raises body levels by 12% more than the same dose in an isolated pill. Therefore, unless your doctor detects a severe deficiency through blood tests or you suffer from an intestinal absorption problem, the golden rule is always food first. Food is our natural pharmacy. Every week I receive very valuable questions that I would like to briefly answer. For example, people ask whether it is okay to prepare lemon water the night before. The answer is a clear no. Vitamin C breaks down quickly when exposed to air and light. If you leave the juice overnight, in the morning, you will only be drinking acidic water with no protective properties. Always squeeze your lemon at the moment you drink it. They also ask whether taking 1 gram vitamin C tablets is a good idea. Caution is needed. The body has a limited absorption capacity per dose, and the excess is eliminated through urine. Moreover, if you have a history of kidney stones, such high doses may increase the risk of developing them. It is better to obtain nutrients gradually through diet. Another frequent question in my clinic is whether dry eyes really improve with this nutritional change. The answer is an absolute yes. By reducing overall tissue inflammation, the small glands in the eyelids begin to produce the oily layer of tears again, preventing them from evaporating. This results in less burning, no gritty sensation, and immediate comfort. Omega-3s and vitamins act as a balm for dryness. To close our session today, I want to share the case of Mrs. Rosa, a lovely 72-year-old patient who came to my clinic feeling very discouraged after being diagnosed with early macular degeneration. She felt she would lose her independence. After reviewing her habits, we found an almost complete absence of key antioxidants. I suggested a very simple plan: a kiwi at breakfast, spinach at lunch, and salmon twice a week. No expensive medications or impossible diets. After 3 months, her specialist was surprised. The progression of the degeneration had slowed dramatically, and her visual acuity improved noticeably. Mrs. Rosa told me with a smile, "Doctor, color has returned to my days." That is pure biochemistry and the true power of nutrition. Of course, remember that nutrition does not replace ophthalmologist visits. Regular checkups are your best visual life insurance. If you notice straight lines appearing wavy, sudden flashes of light, a dark curtain in your vision, or intense pain, seek medical attention immediately. Do not let silent malnutrition steal your independence or triple your risk of falls due to poor visibility. The solution to protecting your vision is not in a distant laboratory. It is in the decisions you make every day at the table. I have given you the complete map to protect your eyes. Now, the ball's in your court. Take care of your vision. Share this advice with your loved ones and allow your eyes to keep discovering a world full of vibrant colors and beautiful possibilities. Thank you for joining me on this new channel. This is Dr. Joseph J. Allen saying goodbye. Until next time, and may you enjoy excellent visual health.